And I've been asked many times, like, what happened to you on that day? And the one thing that always comes back is the dissonance of this sort of incredibly beautiful, sunny, warm, late summer, early fall day in New York. I think it had rained the day before. You still had puddles on the ground, and the sky was this sort of unbelievably clear blue, and it just looked like this picture-perfect day. And then, the utter mayhem in the middle of that. It just seemed so. It just made it even more unreal or unfathomable. But I remember, that day, I think it was a Monday, if I'm not mistaken, or Tuesday. It was early in the week, and Melanie had to be at work. My wife had to be at work early that day. She worked not far from here in the financial district, and I heard on the radio that the World Trade Center had been hit by a plane. I thought it must have been a small plane, some sort of freak accident. And I kind of, I was in the bathroom shaving. I walked across our apartment in the East Village to look out of our bedroom window where you could see the towers. And you could see this old plume of smoke rising up from the North Tower. And I grabbed my camera and I went up to my rooftop, and I thought, I'll just take a picture of that. I didn't, freak accident, nothing to it. And then all of a sudden I saw the second plane sort of swerving around, and it was heading south, and then it turned around and headed north, and it smashed right into the South Tower. And it was unbelievably frightening to see that. It was just this huge ball of flame and broken glass and shed this. And, I sort of almost instinctively turned around and faced north to look at the Empire State Building, thinking, like, when's that's going to be hit next? And I remember there was a building going up across the street from me, a steel frame building, and the construction workers were on the beams, all also looking south like I was. And there was this just sort of collective groan of like, no, like, and I remember seeing the people walking on the sidewalk and driving on First Avenue, and almost for a second like envying them for their ignorance, that they had not seen that they do not know yet what had happened. And I tried to reach Melanie, knowing that she was very close to here, and of course I couldn't get through on my phone, so I just jumped on my bike, and headed downtown, and it was just an unbelievable journey downtown, so to speak, through Chinatown and the Lower East Side, and the sort of stream of humanity all heading north, and the cops trying to head south, and the towers sort of with smoke rising from them. And one thing that I just can't, I got my phone rang, I stopped, and thinking it would be Melanie. It was actually a friend from Atlanta. They called, asking what's going on, and so I'm stopped there in the middle of the road, somewhere in Chinatown, and there's this old triangular traffic median somewhere near Grand Street, I think, and you can see the towers in the background. These two elderly women were just standing there, and their friend was taking a picture of them with the towers behind them. And I was just dumbfounded. I thought, don't you understand, like, that people just died here, that people are dying there right now? I think people could not come to grips with that. They thought, and it just looked like a spectacular movie. And eventually I found my way down here, and it was the same kind of dissonance down here. Like Melanie's building, she worked for Sullivan & Cromwell at the time, had been evacuated. And they were all on this plaza in front of the building down at 125 Broad Street, this sunny day. And there was just this feel of like a corporate outing, not like, no comprehension of what was going on. And I just felt this sense of urgency to get out of here, not knowing that the towers were going to fall. Just a sense of unease about being right down here in Lower Manhattan. And a friend of hers, we urged her to come with us. She said she wanted to stay because her purse was upstairs. So we finally left, and we were walking up Water Street, and we were up at Fulton when the first tower came falling down. And you could feel this wave of panic sweeping through, everyone. And I didn't understand why, because we were so close and the streets were so narrow there that you could actually not see the towers. And so I had no idea that the first tower fell down. They were saying it's falling down, it's falling down. I did not know what they were talking about. And as we walked further north, you can see all these people going across on the Brooklyn Bridge. We're up by the Williamsburg Bridge when the second tower came falling down. At that point, you could hear that same creaking that you heard when the North Tower fell.